Hi guys, welcome to the JG Show. I'm in the ring with Anton. We're going to be talking about his career in fighting, his life in China, and much, much more. Let's do it. So Shenzhen, when did you get to Shenzhen then?
I think it was 12 years ago.
That's 12 years, okay. So it's quite a while.
18 years in China, 12 years in Shenzhen.
Wow, all right. So you obviously like it. You plan to stay?
I think it's the best city. I was working in Shanghai, and when you're 23, 24, Shanghai is the best. Like all the clubs, the ladies, you go out four nights a week. But then I came to Shenzhen to see my friends. I fell in love with the city, and I found a job here.
Nice. Yeah, right. Yeah. That's what I really want to get deep with you, because you've had at least 13.
I counted yesterday. I think it was 15 fights.
15 fights. Okay.
I tried to remember all of them. I think I just don't remember some of them, but it was at least 15.
Imagine having so many pro fights that you kind of just forget.
Not all of them were pro. Like some of them were amateur tournaments.
Okay.
But I had at least two pro fights where the guy facing me was a professional fighter.
And you're getting paid.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was raised in a very intellectual family. My father and mother were both scientists. My father is a PhD. So I grew up to be completely opposed to any kind of violence.
Okay.
I was a very sensitive boy and very compassionate.
Okay.
Very nice boy to everybody. Mm-hmm. And so when in school there were some bullies, and it just shattered my world. I didn't know what was happening. Like, how can you deliberately hurt somebody? Why is it happening?
Yeah, what's the sense of
I had no answer in my world, like what is happening. Right?
Okay, all right.
And so later on, it just got worse.
Okay.
In every class that I went to, there was some kind of school bully, and he picked me as a target because he picked up on the fear inside of me.
I see.
And so I developed this very deep fear of physical confrontation, fear of violence. And I've seen too much violence, like in schools in Russia. Mm-hmm. And let me clarify: when I say bullying, it's not verbal abuse. It's not like you motherfucker. It's something that, in legal terms in U.S., would be qualified as battery and assault.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's pretty bad.
It's pretty. So it's they're actually it's full on attacking.
It's attack. It's like hurting you. You know.
Wow.
Like until you cry, you know.
Jesus. Okay.
And so
you go to school fearing for your life.
It's not only limited to school. Like if you go out, you'll find some trouble on the street. If like some people can pick up on you, like you're a pussy, they will
target you.
Target you. Yeah. So that went on for quite a long time, and I tried to fight back a couple times, and it ended very badly. Because you see, it's not just receiving a punch. It's also like I had this psychological block, that I cannot punch somebody in the face. Mm-hmm. It's like so against my values and everything I stand for, you know. I was too peaceful.
Okay.
You know? And so, of course, when I grew up, I was like 13 or 14 or 15. Imagine all the embarrassing situation I went into.
Yes.
Like you imagine you're with your girlfriend and you know that you cannot stand up for her. Imagine that somebody is, you're being humiliated in front of a girl that you like. Imagine that. So when I was about 16 or 17, I started really working out and gaining some muscle. Mm-hmm. And I also changed my environment. I went to the university later and whatever. Okay. So my environment changed, and aggressive situations were not there anymore.
Okay.
It was awesome. So then after that, I decided that I needed to go into the ring and for the real fights, because my goal was, like I remember those times in school when the fear was so bad that it's like 1,000 knives sticking into your lung, gut. It's just
you're so crazy. Scared. It's such a
scary.
Petrifying feeling.
And I wanted to get to the point where I get into the ring and I feel nothing.
Okay.
Like I feel calm and confident and nothing else.
Yeah.
And it took me 2 years and 12 fights.
2 years and 12 fights.
Till I felt like I'm getting into the ring, and it's like whatever happens, I'm gonna be okay.
I see. Strong China protein.
Yeah, and I was pitched against a 70 kg guy who was like a national champion or some sort. He was like so good. He did cartwheels in the gym, in the ring, like trying to kick me doing a cartwheel and shit. It's just crazy. I was stunned. Like that was the fight where I got beat up so bad, and it was my very first fight, and I knew that it's not gonna get worse than that.
Okay.
Okay, so, and later on I thought to myself, like, how do you know you're a good fighter? It's like you've been through some really bad adversity and you came on top. So, like, have you ever had your leg kicked until it's like purple all over?
No.
Have you ever been punched in your teeth like until you think your teeth are falling out?
Yeah, you're like, my whole face is numb.
Did you keep fighting after that? You know, it's like if you have been through things like that and you still kept fighting, then
you're good.
It makes you tougher.
That makes. But was that sort of like, because you know maybe a bit more of the scene here of events like this, and maybe there's a bit of corruption in it, right?
Okay.
Mismatching.
I think that in some fights it's completely fair, right?
Okay.
Like I've been to fights and I've fought Chinese guys who are absolutely equal level to me. Sometimes I lost, sometimes I won. But I've seen some fights where crazy things happen. Like one time, there was like the final event, a Chinese guy against a foreign guy, right?
Okay.
And the foreign guy was, I think he was the better and more technical, and the Chinese guy was a little overweight, and he gave his all in the second round. He didn't win in the second round. Okay. And in the third round, the foreign guy would probably mess him up, right?
Okay.
You know what happened?
What, they gave it to the Chinese guy?
No, the official came into the ring and gave a speech for 5 minutes.
Gave a speech.
And then they had the third round. So the Chinese guy had 5 minutes to rest. Before the third round. Can you imagine that?
Okay.
It was tricky.
Just a random.
I don't know. Maybe it was like planned all along. I don't know. But you know, and also they.
That's so funny. I'm just gonna take a speech here. So, how about some stand-up comedy? Guys, like, come on, you can't do this. Okay. Wow, that's tough.
But anyway, I wanted to say something.
Tough.
Like after all those fights, I was thinking about this bullying thing, and maybe someone is watching who can relate to that, and maybe someone who's watching has a kid, like a boy who's going to school and might experience some trouble. So here's what I think. There's only one thing that works, and a lot of things that don't work. Like number one thing that doesn't work is telling your kid that you should stand up for yourself. You should, fight back. Don't you think he knows he should fight back? You know, this doesn't work. Number two is try to interfere, like talk to the bullies.
This is another bad idea.
Yeah, bad idea.
Never ends well.
It's like it might give the kid some false sense of security for a while, but it doesn't fix the problem.
I see.
Number three is school. School is a joke. You will never do anything. And so the only option, I think, is to get the kid to a gym where he will spar other kids. Yeah. That's it. That's the only thing. If you take him to karate or some boxing gym where he doesn't spar the kids, where they don't regularly fight each other, he might learn some good technique. But as soon as he encounters somebody who wants to hurt him, he will probably just not be ready for that.
So it's basically, you're saying sort of have a controlled environment where he can fight. Yeah. And he can get comfortable with this. Yeah.
And I think, so I haven't fought for 8 years now.
8
maybe 9
years.
Yeah, I was 31 when I had my last fight. Now I'm 39. It's 20. So almost 9 years.
So there's 20. First fight was what, 21?
29.
29.
I fought until I was 31. 2 years, and then I quit. Okay. And right now I'm like when I'm thinking about the coming fight. When I'm thinking about the opponent I'm going to face. I'll be honest with you. I have this little nervous feeling.
A little feeling. But is that something you like? Do you like that feeling?
The thing is, no. I think it will just melt away during the 2 weeks that I'm going to prepare for the fight. I don't want it when I go into the ring. But I was asking for this because I want to fight a bigger.
Yes,
Okay.
that's interesting. So with 15 fights, so the last three, that's probably the most interesting. These, because this is where you said you sort of you were like in the zone, right? You had this very like you just walked in like cool, you know, like Fedor Emelianenko kind of look, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So with those, I mean, how did you perform under this sort of new mentality compared to the previous?
I lost the first one and then won 2 other ones.
Won the other 2.
Yeah, and the one like the one before the last one, there was a pro fight, and I got hit so hard in the second round that the guy broke my eardrum and almost knocked me out. Like his last series in the last 10 seconds of the second round was so brutal. I barely like kept standing. And then in the third, he got gassed, and I finished him.
Okay,
awesome.
so you came back.
Yeah, and so in your what do you think? The guys who are fighting in the white collar fight night for the first time, do you think they are the guys who think they are good at fighting and they just want to test themselves in the ring?
Yeah.
Or are they more like, okay, I've never fought before, I never punched someone, and I want to challenge myself? What do you think is?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of both, but probably more the first. I think people, especially Chinese, they have like quite a good level of confidence to get in the ring. I think China's like you were saying before, China's very peaceful. It's a very safe community. People here aren't ready to jump in the ring, and usually the ones that want to jump in the ring aren't part of that white collar community, right? The guys that actually want to get to fight and get paid. They want to make this a career. So like the guy fighting, that 45-year-old business owner that's fighting, he's in the upcoming against Kev, is you can imagine he's just like wants to add something to his bucket list, and he truly has confidence in his training. You know, because to get in the ring with
So he's like a fit guy who thinks he can
yeah, he's like, I could probably do this. I could probably, you know, I couldn't do a fight, but a boxing fight, and even more so a white collar fight.
Yeah.
This kind of this goes into another question I would have for you. You've done, okay, so you as a person, you as an individual, you're very fit, right? So stamina wise, let's pretend you don't have this stamina. And let's look at a guy like, you know, like Kev's, right? He's coming in, right? He's a little bit overweight, but he's trained a lot, okay? Now, you look at the 15 fights that you've done, the first one and then down to the last one, and now the one coming in.
Yeah.
If you were to break it down percentage-wise, how much of it is stamina versus actual boxing, or let's say call it striking skill, let's say, you know, footwork, and then most importantly, mentally, how much, if you were to break it all down, right?
I think...
Like if you, and you're speaking directly to Kev's, right? Because he's never had a fight before. And he's got now, it's what, 3 weeks until the fight.
Let's say there are 2 guys who look exactly like Kez and who has exactly the same background. Like this. One focuses entirely on technique. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Another one focuses on stamina. Yeah. And spars. Yes. This one wins because he's a better fighter. But I think the better fighter wins if like even if you're slightly better technically, if you have more weight than I do, if you are taller or if you are like bigger muscle, if I'm a better fighter, I probably will win. Because number one, I think I'll win. I believe in myself much more than you probably do. That's a mentality thing. Mentality thing. And I've been through worse thing than you have. And so when you eat a punch, you might cover yourself and stop looking at me. And I eat your punch, I keep punching you. Yeah, see, that's the one thing, because Vlad is extremely fit. The guy who can stand and make a backflip. Yeah. He's extremely fit, this guy that Anton's fighting in 3 weeks. Extremely fit. And physically, he looks like a fucking cyborg, you know? He looks like something out of Terminator. He's like, you know. But he doesn't have 15 fights. And that was the thing that when you were talking about earlier. It's just a mental thing. At the end of the day, when you've stepped in the ring more, and you just said it took you 12 fights to get this feeling, and in that last 3, you had the flow state, right? Yeah. And even though now you said you got a bit of butterflies, I was like, yeah, but if we're in Vegas and we're betting money, people would look at this. How many fights does he have? Yeah, I'll take him.
Like I think even if you had one eye, I think
man.
people would still bet on
It's an advantage, but is it enough of it?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I think it's gonna be an interesting
That's
fight,
right,
man.
yes.
I'm excited.
I'm so excited.
Wow. Xu Xiaodong, I think he did a very important thing by exposing those fake martial artists, and before it's all over, I think he will be a national hero. My personal opinion.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's an interesting opinion. Yeah, that like at the end of the day, when all the dust settles, people will be like, oh, yeah, well,
There
thanks
was this
for
guy who started this whole thing. Another thing I think about this guy, some people would look at his fights, like when he is fighting, and like, oh, this guy is not that good or whatever. It doesn't matter. You know, it does, like what he accomplished as a fighter is not nearly as important as his accomplishment as, you know, having balls to just say, you know what, this is fake.
Yeah.
Guys, look at this is fake.
This is bullshit.
Let's try to fight this guy and see what he got. You know?
Yeah.
And he got the balls to do it and expose it, and yeah, he faces the consequences.
Yeah. I like that. That's an interesting opinion. I like that. When all the dust settles, at the end of the day, people will be very appreciative of what Xu Xiaodong did to clear out, like, you know, the garbage, right?
Very fit guy. Anyway, if I could learn from him online, like through the mirror or whatever, I will probably follow that. You know,
yeah.
If it's a celebrity that you want to learn from, and you have an opportunity like that, I think that's the golden spot.
That's it. That's the ticket. Yeah, it's the IP.
But I don't know. I'm probably a wrong guy to talk to about this, because I always preferred to train either by myself or in a group, in a community where I felt like I belong. You know, I always perform better when I'm in a community that I care about, where I don't only have a coach watching over me, but also I want to be an example for the other guys in the community.
And you represent other. Yeah, like our little fight camp here.
Yeah,
helping the people get ready for their fight.
When you want to quit, when you feel like, oh, I want to slack here, I cannot do 20. You know, I want to do like 15 and then just go home. No, you want to be an example for the other guys. You know, you want to be an inspiration instead of, you know, somebody could you know, turn it to a bad direction.
Wow, well, that's cool. Try everything. So you don't really have like a particular program or a method or a system.
No program, no
by feel.
APP, no no pulse watch, nothing. The only thing I ever used was this Nike Run Plus program, just to see how far I'm running when I'm running. You know?
That's long enough.
That was 5 kilometers. Oh, nice to know. You know,
Good to know.
That's it. Nothing else.
Nice. That was fun.
Yeah.
Close her out, guys. Stay tuned for the next episode. We're gonna have equally awesome people on the show, and yeah, peace.